All right. Great, we're good to go? All right, excellent. So, analysts over at lunch. Lunchtime's over. You want to come over here? Join us for our customer panel. All right, so thanks for joining us today. I was just thinking about this. 1 year ago, Sapphire 2016, S4HANA, we had a limited amount of live customers. The solution had been out for a year. And of course, we had our first set of customers really looking forward, thinking, what were they doing with S4HANA? Mainly working with our finance solution. And what a difference from 1 year later. So we've got over 750 live customers. And today, we've cherry-picked some of our best today, which I want to introduce to you right now. So starting right here, we've got Kumar Govindaran, who's with Adita Technologies, Michael Ellie, CIO from Karma Automotive, Tara Gamble with Mod Pizza, Director of IT, Manish with Manishina. Hey, we got a one name first name basis now. Head of IT with Vectus, thanks for joining. And Jerry Druce, who's Senior Director, Program Manager with Vivint. So thanks again for joining us today and speaking with the analyst community today. So what I'm going to do is just start with a few opening questions, just so you all have a good background understanding of what each of these companies are doing in case you're unfamiliar. We're going to start to dive into a little bit about how are they using S4HANA, how are their businesses changing, accelerating, transforming with S4HANA. And then if we have time, the final 10, 15 minutes, we'll open it up to some of your questions so we can get right into some of the specifics. Sound good? All right. So I want to start off with a question for the whole panel, and we can start with you here, Kumar, and move along the panel. But tell us, what was the impetus of change inside of your organization to consider business transformation? How did that impact some of the underlying technologies that were needed?
Okay, no worries. Adita is a SAP partner, and we are a licensed reseller as well. We started our company 9 years ago in Australia. So now we operate in multiple countries, Australia, India, a little bit in North America. There are quite a few countries we operate. So what we did over the years, we have been using multiple systems in different countries. So we always wanted to consolidate. At this point of time, we have some aggressive growth plans, like for the next few years. We were looking at different solutions, particularly cloud solution. So when S4HANA came up, we evaluated it, and we thought it's it was fit to standard. So you can rapidly deploy the solution, and we analyzed some of the other things. So then we decided to go with S4HANA. So.
All right, excellent. Michael.
So first of all, Karma Automotive was founded in April of 2014, and we make plug-in electric luxury vehicles. We shipped our first vehicles on Friday.
Excellent.
First 10 vehicles out of the plant on Friday, so we're very excited about that. And so really, it started with a conversation between our interim CEO at the time and I, and he asked me, what's our IT strategy going to be? And I said, well, we're going to go with SAP, mainly because of the very deep industry knowledge and industry expertise, and because we can leverage out of the box best business practice processes. And that was not the answer that our interim CEO was expecting at the time, right? So that started a kind of a debate. In his mind, we're a startup company. Of course, we would be completely in the cloud. We would leverage anything in the cloud. And so my good colleague of 15 years, Keaton, and I started doing a lot of research and a lot of conversation with SAP as well. They said, look, you guys got to help us out here. We know we have the right foundation, but how do we meet these demands that this new company is putting on us, right? So flexible, scalable, easy to use, cost effective. And through that research and through those conversations, it was very obvious to us and very clear to us that, of course, we had to go to SAP HANA. But in addition to that, we also wanted to go to the HANA Cloud portal. We also wanted to do Hybris. We also wanted to do C4C as well. And so, that journey started, in 2014, and culminated in us, being able to run our complete business on this SAP platform today.
Excellent, great. Tara?
Mod Pizza was founded in 2008 as a pioneer in the fast casual pizza industry, and immediately started experiencing some initial growth, but in the last 3 years we've had over 3-digit growth. And while we call ourselves Pizza with a Purpose, we had to find a solution that would allow us to scale with our businesses across these hundreds of locations and to deliver super fast. We are a cloud-only shop. We're a very lean IT organization.
Right.
And so a cloud product such as S4HANA Cloud and SuccessFactors that we're also implementing in tandem with their natural integration was just made it the best possible solution for us.
Excellent, great. Manish?
So, as far as our case was concerned, we were full of downtime. So that was the scenario when I joined the organization 2 years back, and from there we built everything from the scratch. One end we were building the infrastructure for the future, and the other hand we have the business requirements coming up that this data is not matching, we are getting improper stocks, the visibility is not there, and management was clueless that how the products are moving into the market, and we didn't have any insights on that. Production data means it was on the mercy of the user whether they are punching it or not punching it. The legacy system was not giving them that much comfort that they can see the transparency into the system across all the departments. So, and the other part was the speed. The speed was the major concern because the legacy application was not having that much, the coding standards have been followed, not in terms of the database tuning was there. So those were the areas. And when it comes to the business part, the integration of the mobile workforce, because we got 200 plus people across India who are dealing with the sales of the water tanks and pipes, because we are into water storage solutions and the pipe manufacturing company. So that's what we do. As you know, that water crisis everywhere, it's a kind of popular topic these days. But nobody is paying attention how they are storing the waters. So that's what the purpose and the mission of our company comes in, that we will give that solution to the customers, that they have insights of our product, and when we are selling it for 5 years warranty or the 10 years warranty, we can still be in touch with them. So that those areas were our concern. So that's why we decided, earlier it was a choice ECC 6.0. From there, when we saw the possibilities of integrating mobile workforce, we saw the possibility of integration of third-party platforms also and this mobile application. So then we decided, considering the IoT possibilities, we should move on SAP S4HANA. And there, the implementation partner, Vicentric Technologies, they played a key role. They give us insights what a digital core can do to the business. So that's what the area where it came in, and then we moved on SAP S4HANA.
Excellent, great, thanks. Jerry?
Well, Peter, for us, the biggest driver is we had outgrown our infrastructure. Vivint was founded in 1999, started out as home security, and over time we've developed our own platform and evolved as the leader in the smart home market.
Right.
And our growth has just been exponential, 300% in the last several years alone. We have 1 million customers, and our CEO has set a target of 10 million in the next 3 years. So we have to be able to grow. But being a young company, the infrastructure that we had built was largely homegrown. We're a net new SAP customer, a greenfield, and so we had just a mismatch of some off-the-shelf finance applications, 3 different inventory systems, 2 of them homemade. You had a field service organization with technicians having to have real-time visibility into their inventory, your warehouse, our sales applications, none of them were in sync, and so reconciliation was just a challenge. And the integrated landscape was, quite honestly, a nightmare. But yeah, as an innovative company as we are, there's a lot of new initiatives that come up. Our sales team is building partnerships. We've just launched a national partnership with Best Buy to have a store in a store model in every Best Buy over the next year and a half.
Now, is that it's going to go through the whole Best Buy system?
Yes.
How many stores is that?
It will ultimately, I believe, 1,200. We'll
Wow.
have 454 by the end of this year.
Okay.
So if you
Huge
look
new
at
channel for the
huge
business,
new
yeah.
challenge. We've always been a door-to-door sales, direct-to-home model,
Right.
and that's how we grew $1 million. Obviously, to hit 10 million, we need to go, through the retail markets. And so the expansion of new sales channels, distribution channels, is really what led us to SAP. We needed to have that agility to grow on demand. I've always, when a new option would come up from our sales team, I was the one having to say no. So that was a big driver.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, great missions across all of your companies. I want to go to Manish with a specific question for you. So, I mean, right now, what Vectus is doing, you're really solving one of the major, if not the most important issues in India right now, which is clean, safe, widely available water. And I've seen some statistics where if we compare to the US, it's about 3% of the size per capita of clean water that's available per person inside of India. So a huge achievement that you're doing right now to help solve that major issue. The growth in your business, I think because of the size and magnitude of that issue, has been huge. So I think you're growing CAGR 35% for 9 years, 10 years, I believe I read. So we heard a little bit about how the business was running prior to S4HANA. So now that you've implemented, I mean, tell us a little bit about some of those immediate benefits. Maybe some you expected, what was the return? Are there any others that, were unexpected?
As I said that when we started our journey, the downtime was the main concern.
Yeah.
The speed was the concern, because I used to get the call from the user even at the night that, okay, can I punch my bill? Can I raise my invoice? So that was the scenario with the legacy. And right now, no downtimes, only scheduled downtimes are there. So that is the one remarkable achievement which we got. I can say that 50% the data accessibility got increased. And when it comes to the human efficiency, the 60%, that efficiency got itself increased, because earlier from 8 hours, people were working like 12 hours also. And that was on chance that whether they are able to punch the data into the system or not. That it's a kind of lucky draw for them if they are punching in the starting in the morning or even in the late night, because others are also working. So that was the area. And when it comes to the IT operational cost area, where we got huge reduction in the operational cost also, that comes around the 15% of that. And the other concerning area was this month closing and the year-end closing. Earlier, it is a kind of job when it comes to start your next month. You can do the cost run in the morning itself, and now you can start around 10 o'clock in the morning, the next invoice you can raise. That is the thing. Earlier in the legacy system, it was a kind of 4 days job for us. So that is the area. And for the year-end closing, that is also from months, it got reduced to certain days. So these were the remarkable achievements which we got out of moving from the legacy system and moving on SAP S4HANA.
Excellent, great. So Michael, next question's for you. A big theme besides Leonardo is also connecting all parts of your business to run live, using multiple solutions together in concert from SAP. And I point out for the analysts, it's not the big Leonardo cylinder, but we have a cylinder off to the side with a bike in front. Definitely check that out. It's self-service. You can touch screen. You can kind of see how all the solutions with S4, with Concur, with Hybris are all working together. Now that's theoretical. It's really working for your business. So give us some insights on how that goes.
Yeah, we have connected cars. They They throw data up into the cloud real time, all the time. And there are certain cases where we want to make sure that we take action. So if the car throws what we call a DTC code, a diagnostics code, they have different levels of severity. We have categorized them in 4 different categories. And they create what we call a vehicle event case or a VEC case, and they go straight into our C4C system. And from there, workflows start automatically depending on what level of severity it is. And again, depending on what it is, we might contact the customer right then and there, ask them to take the car to a service center or let them know that everything's all right and that just a telltale or whatever the case is. So real time from our vehicles to SAP C4C.
Excellent. Great. Now, as far as Hybris, I believe you're also using that for your front end for Karma.com? Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to karmaautomotive.com, that is on Hybris. The vehicle configurator there is the Hybris configurator. And if you go to the website, basically you can configure the car, and if you choose to be contacted, that creates a lead that then goes through HANA Cloud Portal into C4C as well, and for our dealers to basically follow up on. And the configuration and on the HANA Cloud Portal, that's basically our dealer portal. So any business that our dealer do with us, they do on the HANA Cloud Portal. We've set it up with a Fiori interface, and they really love the simplicity of that. And they can go punch a tile and basically configure the vehicle, place an order, becomes a sales order, becomes a production order in our system, and off it flows. And internally, everybody in our company are basically also operating on Fiori. So we decided that we wanted to go as much possible on Fiori. So we have a Fiori launchpad, and if you're on the shop floor in the plant, you're on a touch panel where you confirm the steps in the operations of the production order, consume parts, and that's on Fiori.
Right. Even QA.
The quality inspection guys, they're on an iPad on a Fiori app, and they're scanning the serialized part that they got to do an inspection on, and real time, basically doing the inspection. If there's any issues, they can take a picture. They can mark up where the area is that needs rework or scrap up, whatever it is. Right. So pretty much anybody in our company is one way or the other running on SAP and through the Fiori interface.
That's great. And you mentioned, so you had your first customer shipments on Friday.
Correct.
What are you looking to scale up to this year? Do you have anything you can say on that?
This was for us to say that we're in business.
Yeah.
This was the car, the Karma Rivero is it's a halo car. It's building the brand. We don't have to have a lot of volume. The plant that we have in Southern California is capacitized for 15,000 vehicles a year. We're not going to do that to start with. Our mission, our objective is to have 100% customer satisfaction. So we'd rather slow build and make sure the quality is there, and make sure that we deliver on that promise.
Yeah, smart, great,
Yeah.
Excellent. So Kumar, you're both a customer as well as a partner. You're covering BYD in the past, now S4HANA Cloud as an implementation service provider.
Yep.
Hybris, maybe a few of our competitors. So what made you choose S4HANA Cloud?
As you said, we were rapidly growing, and we wanted a solution that can be implemented at a quick turnaround time. And moreover, as a growing company, we learned our lesson a while ago. If you start doing the on-prem systems, slowly, you put your effort in managing that system and capital cost, all those stuff. And so we are more focused on the cloud solution nowadays, cloud first. So that's our strategy. Mm-hmm. So we realized, when we started looking at S4HANA, there are quite a few things. First is a lot of the fit to standard processes, whatever we are doing, they are all available in the system. And it is easy to implement. We did our implementation in Australia 10 weeks time. We are waiting for the localization for India. When we do it in India, it will be 4 weeks actually.
Oh, wow.
So it's it's quite easy. Like when we are doing
at 16 weeks.
Yeah. So we are going to do probably like we have a North American expansion plan. We do operate here a little bit. Some point of time when we do it, we are trying to do probably beat by 3 weeks or something like that. So we have that goal. So it's not only that, like there are quite other few things. In the past with BOID, all these solutions, it's basically you have the core ERP and then the BOID on the side, which is not the same solution.
Right.
With S4, you have the same solution that you're going to use the same solution used by some of the best companies in the world. Like
Right.
behind the scene, the public cloud or the on-prem, they're all sharing the same code base.
Exactly.
Like, you may not get all the option to tweak the solution.
Yep.
But as far as your business can can meet the fit to standard process, I mean that's the best solution. You can get it at a fraction of cost. You can roll out quickly, and then you can leave all the headache of managing the system and availability, all those stuff to SAP, and then you focus on innovation and focus on giving better customer service, etc. So these are all some of the things like pushed us towards S4HANA. Eventually, we want to reach like 100,000 employees. That's our long-term vision, actually. So we actually wanted a system that we could grow with, actually.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of these other cloud solutions, I don't think they will be with us when we reach 100,000, but I'm sure S4 will be with us.
You implement a lot of those competitive solutions, so you would know, right?
Yeah, we do work with other, like for example, Salesforce and few of the other products, as NetSuite and few of the other ones as well. But obviously, I guess there is the key difference between S4 and some of the competitors is the innovation cycle. So every 90 days, you get new innovations. In February, we got the machine learning capabilities. And right now, our invoices, the system is automatically matching the incoming payments against invoices.
Yeah, the cash
time to time, we raise like 20 invoices to a customer because it's monthly, different people, etc. But they might make only 3 payments. So previously, we used to allocate these 3 payments against these 20 invoices. Now with the machine learning, it can do automatically, and then if you want, you can change it. But it is one of the key things we got now. With 1705, SAP released co-piloting application, so you can basically, the accounting guy in India can talk to the guy in Australia, asking him about questions about what happened to this particular timesheet, and the customer is raising queries, etc. You can send a screenshot, while you're talking to the guy, and
sends them right to the same place in the application, so it's not just static, right?
Yeah, you can do a lot of things, so these are some of the things, some of the competitors of SAP, I'm sure they're not they're not obviously releasing 90 days innovations.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the cloud, with the public cloud, is you don't need to worry about upgrading it. It's upgraded automatically, and it's all you need to do is use the automatic testing tool to test your scripts. We did one upgrade in February. It went well, and then we are doing next one this week.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy, and so those are all some of the reasons why we adapted to S4, and we're pretty happy with it.
Excellent, great. So Tara, I know a huge requisite you had for your business was to have HR together with financials, with the integration. So can you give me a little bit more about the business needs that were pushing you in that direction?
Sure. Really at the crux of it is growth, and managing that growth and removing the roadblocks so that we could continue to grow while we create a platform for innovation. We are at over 200 stores in over 20 states and 5 locations in the UK, and over 4,000 employees. And so to, again, find that solution where we could focus on simplifying our control points, our data, in a fast-growing legacy environment, things can get a little out of hand. And as I heard, some of that legacy solutions, while they helped get the business to where it is, it certainly can't sustain and scale. And so not only are we bringing in simplification, we're also standardizing a number of our core business processes so that we can focus on innovation and those differentiating things for MOD And one of those biggest differentiating things are our employees.
Yeah.
And we have a very people-first mantra, and we actually have something that we call spreading modness, and that is where we focus on the employee first, and we take care of the employees, and we empower them, and we actually work on second chance hires in some cases,
Right.
where we embrace diversity, and we fight for inclusion, and we give people the opportunity to focus on their future and not be hampered by their past. And so with that, it creates an amazing level of employee engagement and also fierce loyalty, which they then in turn into their stores and how they care for our customers, how they produce our quality product and help move the business forward. And managing 4,000 employees in a HR system can be a challenge as well. So the integration between S/4HANA Cloud and SuccessFactors is a perfect fit for us as we move both platforms forward, and we work through change management and adoption and find ways to not just become compliant in the back of the house, but also provide a lot of engagement and reach to the front of our house.
Sure. And the people first comes through really clear. So I mentioned backstage, I'm in Austin, Texas. You just opened one, I think it was a few months ago. I actually went. The pizza's great. High pace, I mean, you're in and out real fast, so it's
super
volume,
fast.
but the people are genuinely happy to be there, and that really comes through.
Well, good to hear that.
Yeah.
We definitely we feed that, and we not only want to be a cool place to eat, but we want to be an inspiring place to work.
Excellent. Great. So, Jerry, at Vivint, we had some conversations before about how this is really kind of chapter one for Vivint right now and your transformation. You've made this change from home security to smart home, from a direct channel to more indirect. So tell us a little bit, chapter 2, chapter 3, kind of what's coming next for Vivint.
Sure. So phase one for us really was just getting on the core product. And we went live February 28th. I've had zero downtime and zero major defects. So
repeat that again. We got a lot
Zero
of questions
downtime,
about that.
zero
Is it
major
really
defects.
happening?
And on top of that, we're really kind of focused right now on the process optimization. As a company, a lot of our financial and supply chain practices were organic.
Yeah.
And so part of putting in phase one was really focused on the best practice, being open to modifying how we operated to fit into a more definable, measurable. Measurable was a key, to be able to track our metrics and know how we're performing. But with these new channels that we're opening up, I mentioned Best Buy before, I mentioned Sprint, those are store-in-a-store models. We're also working with companies like Airbnb to expand the capabilities. Imagine you're owning a property or multiple properties, and you have to go meet the weekly tenant with a key. From your phone, from your app, you can set up a new code that expires for that new tenant.
Yeah.
And
so this is that digital doorknob with the code and all that. Yeah. Okay.
As well as we're moving into, the typical customer for us was the home-based customer, meaning homeowner. We've barely tapped into that multi-dwelling unit market. So to be able to do, first from a supply chain side, we needed to have some fairly complex demand planning to meet all those different systems. So phase two for us, our very first item is going to be IBP and looking at what we can do there to optimize our whole demand planning as well as financial planning aspects. So we're actually starting that initiative right now and looking towards later in this year rolling that out. And then looking at the different billing methods, we've also rolled out consumer financing, much like the mobile phone community has structured. So instead of having to basically depreciate our equipment invested into a customer, get that money back over time, we're now getting it up front. So it's changed our whole cash flow model. But in order to be able to have those multiple different types of billing scenarios, we're really looking strongly at hybrid billing. I mentioned we were kind of at capacity. We're at capacity on our billing right now, so that's going to be one of the biggest drivers coming up as well.
I think there's some salespeople here who are ready to
I know
take you out for a nice dinner at least, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So Kumar, you actually just mentioned the beauty of S4HANA. It has the same code line, same data structure, same UI, but you can have it on-premise, cloud, private cloud. So we've actually got a mixture of deployment models here. So if you can each kind of go through which deployment model, why did you do it, how did the implementation go, just a couple of minutes, just be interesting, I think, for everybody to hear.
Sure. We went live with the public cloud version of the S4HANA. We use the Activate methodology. It's a 5-step process. Basically, you do the explore and then build, like, deploy, run, and then, so there's 5-step process. So if he followed it, and we did our, as I said earlier, like, we completed the implementation in 10 weeks time. When we roll out in India, we are planning to do it in 4 weeks. So that's our deployment model for S4.
All right, great. Michael.
Yes, our HANA S4 is private cloud hosted by Symmetry. We do have some on-prem components as well. So MII in the plant is on in our private cloud, and Hybris as well is on-prem. And then the things that, so HANA Cloud Portal and C4C are, of course, on SAP's
cloud products. Yep.
So.
All right, great. Tara.
Our implementation is S4HANA Public Cloud. And again, with the Activate methodology, it's very crisp, fit to standard best practice. And it's taking us months, not years. And right now we are kind of getting towards the end of our journey and very excited.
Cool, great. Manish?
Yeah, for us it's a private cloud. We bought our own hardware and we went on the HANA appliance approach, and we got pre-configured appliances so that would save 1.5 months time during the project. So that's what the strategy which we decided to move on, and that's on the private cloud. And from there we went for this HANA appliances. So that's doing good for us right now.
Excellent, great. Jerry?
We're running S4 private cloud through SAP's HEC group, their HANA Enterprise Cloud organization. And to be honest, I chose them without really going through the RFP process because I just wanted to have one name, one chokeable throat, should there be an issue.
One back to pad, hopefully.
But also just kind of recognizing as an organization our maturity in maintaining, what can be a complex infrastructure and architecture just wasn't in our toolbox. And so I didn't want to take the chance, as with an ERP, you want to keep it patched, current, healthy, and so really had to recognize where our core strengths were and where they weren't.
Sure, excellent. So I mean, S4HANA, it's been out for 2 years. At some point, each of you were kind of on the ledge right there. Is it ready? Should I do it? Should I not do it? Obviously, you all went forward. You seem all pretty happy with that decision. Now, all the industry analysts and influencers out here typically are speaking to other customers that are reaching that point. Go or no go, is now the right time. So I mean, what advice do you give to customers in that type of situation? What should they be thinking about?
I mean, can you come again with this?
I'm sorry?
Can you come again with the question?
Yeah, so I mean, at some point, you were deciding, do I go forward or not with S4HANA? Can I just continue with ECC or something like that? Or my past solution? What would you tell a customer who's thinking about it right now? Should they go for S4HANA or not, or should they wait for the next release? I mean, what's your experience now that you're live?
It's in, what do you call, see, we need to look at what are the digital disruptions are happening in the world. Like, for example, if you take Airbnb, they've grown to be one of the biggest hotel companies in the 6 years' time without owning a single hotel, okay?
Yeah.
So if you look at Uber and some of the guys, I believe they slashed like 65% of the market share in San Francisco in 18 months. And by 2020 or 2030, we'll have 30 billion devices connected together. So the world is fastly changing, okay? So if you really want to run a successful business, the ERP is the core of the business, okay? There are a number of solutions available. We need to check which solution can support Internet of Things, big data, and where we'll have like a lot of these other products like SuccessFactors, C4C, Ariba, like so many other things, portfolio of products which can interact with these systems. If you look at all those things, S4 definitely fits all these requirements. This is one of the reasons why we went for S4HANA. So we wanted to predict our customers, predict our forecast, and do a lot of other things. And similarly, I do know if all the businesses, they want to be successful, they really need to look at all these the new things like machine learning, big data, all those stuff. SAP is predicting like 70% of accounting operations can be automated,
Right.
These new automatic invoice matching functionality.
Right,
Similar to
right.
that, they're trying to build a lot actually. So so you need to look for an ERP which can do all these things, machine learning, Internet of Things and big data, and has connection to all these other best solutions. Then obviously S4HANA will be right up there, but based on your requirements, you can choose to work with any other company, but I'm sure SAP will not disappoint you. So,
Excellent. Michael?
So our advice to a company that is standing on the ledge and about to jump, definitely do your research. I mean, you should be disciplined enough to sit, and SAP is wonderfully well documented. There are release notes on everything that they do. So sit down, read through it, and make sure that basically the version or the release that you're going to supports the business processes that you have. So that, I would say, that's step number one. You really got to do the research, read, and you'll see whether it'll be an easy jump or not. Second is, try it out. Just, stand up a sandbox somewhere, migrate or convert or upgrade or whatever, and see what falls out, right? And from there, then you can kind of assess where to go. And so we did the same things, and it was remarkably easy to upgrade compared to what we had thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but you got to do the research.
Excellent. Tara?
Look before you leap. And what I mean by that is have an understanding of your stakeholder community, have an understanding as best you can of the key processes, the business transformation items that you're looking to achieve to help right-size your technology decision. Understanding what type of work goes into normalizing data, bringing in change management to get your folks in agreement. And
So that must have been a little bit tricky for you because you're dealing with the head of HR, the head of finance at once to make sure the solutions were fitting.
And really from a change management perspective too, is how much can your organization digest, how flexible, your flexibility ratios, things like that, and really kind of starting small but thinking big as you get a platform that you can work with. And the extensibility was one thing that we had an eye for as well, as we know that we need to do things like POS integration, some of our restaurant-specific type of platforms that we know we need to maximize APIs, things like that. So,
Right.
Again, having an idea of what that architecture is today and where it needs to go is what we tried to focus on, and I would naturally suggest to anyone
Makes
else.
sense. Great. Thanks. Manish?
From me, related to the IT people who are there on the ground to execute the project, I have a message that you should go. Why? Because when we can go, you can definitely can go. that is the reason. To me, support is the most critical area when you are doing the implementation.
Yeah.
And when we decided to move on SAP S/4HANA, we were the first in Indian plastic industry and second in India. And we went live 24 locations, and we did a big bang in 4.5 months of time. So that is the reason, and how we move on that. we got support from the SAP itself. We got enrolled into this early adapter program and customer care program that they supported us well in that. So, and apart from this, recently last month only, SAP only helped us to complete our primary customer center of excellence certificate. So that's what we did, and we are the only SAP S4HANA customer in India who got this certification just last month. So from that part, I must say that you should go, because support is critical when you are doing the implementation, and when you have to sustain your implementation and you need to meet the ongoing demands from the business, then whom you would be going at the back and asking for the help. If the company is having so much labs established across the globe, you have the development centers, and every time you are getting developed release notes. So that's the area we should look for, and that's what we decided to move on.
Great, excellent. Jerry?
You know, I've been a consultant in ERP and a customer of ERP for a lot of years, and I've done a lot of different ERP projects. This is actually the first time I've been in the early adopter seat. I've always been one of the customers that sat back and waited, all right, let's let somebody else go through that pain point, and I'll wait for the next release. This experience has been very positive for us, and from a product perspective, now I'm talking specifically about 1610. It's that for those people that are in the wait and see, that's the version they've been waiting for. Right. EWM built into the base product, IBP built into the base product, some changes to the database structure to minimize locking and challenges like that. It's ready for those masses that are hinging and deciding. That I feel very comfortable with the product. You know, as far as guidance for an implementation, though, if I was to say the one thing is, it's still, from a resource perspective, S4 is still very new. And so as you're looking at your SIs, really interview them, understand how much experience they have under their belt in terms of S4.
Yep.
And plan on investing in your people. If you got really talented people that maybe have come from the R3 environment, invest in them. That's going to be your best resource. So if you can augment, and honestly, we leveraged SAP's premium engagements a lot to kind of offset that delta in the S4 knowledge. And ultimately, I came out with a very, very good S4 team at the end of the project. So.
Yeah, excellent, great. So we've got about 15 minutes left. We can open it up for a few questions. So we have a question up front. Do we have somebody, mic runner? There we go.
Thank you. I have a question for Peter, you, and also Mike. Let me start with Mike. So you took over Fisker's assets.
Correct.
So I'm sure they had their own ERP. Were you able to leverage it? And then moving to a different model, custom-built model, was that difficult with S4? And then Peter, the question for you is, I know Jerry said time to jump in, right? But everybody on this panel, other than him, is really a small startup. No disrespect. And most of your customers are really big companies. So should they take Jerry's advice, or is it still an early adopter product at this stage?
Sure. Who goes first?
That's me.
I can go first.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so we leveraged the assets out of Fisker Automotive, and they had an SAP system, and that's the one that we decided that we wanted to upgrade to the S4. And that, so the foundation, that platform was the industry solution for automotive with best practices building blocks that we had set up completely for end-to-end for automotive. And so, and that's then the component that we then decided that we wanted to upgrade to S4, and that was the part of the research that we did. We looked at what would that take, and we did a mock upgrade as well, and it was surprisingly easy to upgrade. There was very few things that fell out that we had to go take a look at.
Sure. So on your question, I think what you have here are a lot of companies that are scaling. They're not born yesterday. Vivint, you've been around now.
99.
Okay. So for quite a bit, so definitely some transformation going for the business. They had a large, stable business that now they're transforming. Let's say the traditional asset-intensive large SAP customer, obviously adopting S/4HANA is going to take a lot longer than somebody who's a net new customer, a greenfield customer, something like that. They have a legacy that they need to deal with before they completely roll out S/4HANA. And that's what we're seeing right now. I think what really changed was 1511. So first we had the full enterprise management suite. 1610 brought in some components that, especially our larger customers that were running extended warehouse management or APO as a separate installation for their business, that came inside of the core. So if you're familiar with how we unified the data for finance with Universal Journal, now you have, for all of your logistics, you have one set of data that the manufacturing operations, sales, material ledger are running off of. That's what the big long-term SAP customers have been waiting for. And we do have quite a few here. Walmart Katie, have they present? Thursday. Maybe Katie could come up and give a few details on a few of the big customers. But Walmart, Yeti Coolers, the names go on, so we have a lot of those large customers. They've been mainly at the ASUG presentations and some of the big theater presentations speaking on our behalf. And Walmart, I mean, as far as employee size and revenue, is the largest company in the world. So they're not going to implement S/4HANA, end to end in 4 months. It's not going to happen at that type of scale. It's going to be a multi-year project. But what you saw, if you've heard, I think they were speaking with Vlin just earlier, they started with their European operations to deploy first. Nestle, similar type of situation. So they test first with a region, they get that right, they create that kind of global template, and then they move from there, and it's a multi-year process. Great question. Yep, back there.
Nigel Rayner with Gartner. 2 questions, one for Tara and one for Kumar. So Tara, you were a very early adopter of S/4HANA Public Cloud in the finance area. Obviously SuccessFactors is very established. So why did you choose that over much more established cloud finance solutions like Oracle and Workday? Maybe it was driven by the SuccessFactors decision because you're so focused on HCM. So why did you choose that so early in its life cycle? Kumar, Peter made a reference that you were business by design in the past. Now, business by design is a proven cloud solution, very strong in professional services. So why did you go for S/4HANA, which is not proven cloud solution yet, not proven in professional services, over business by design?
Sure. Do you want to?
Okay. Absolutely, the integration between S/4HANA Cloud and SuccessFactors was a huge piece of that. And I would say, more importantly, it's the notion of taking a fast-growing company that has little to no experience in ERP in some of our business areas to provide a process and a platform where we could take advantage of those integrated best practices, where we could have minimal infrastructure, lower total cost of ownership with our very, very small IT organization, and the opportunity to create a partnership with SAP in a growing platform with part of our voice in that platform roadmap. Those were our key drivers.
Okay, from our point of view, as I said earlier, our long-term goal is to reach 100,000 employees. Okay, so we wanted to go to a platform that we can scale as needed, and then grow with it. That's our prime goal. When we're looking for the ERP solution, BYD, yes, it's a good solution. It has everything, but on the other hand, when I really think about it, when we are growing to a 50,000 or 40,000, am I going to use BYD? May not be. That was one of the key reasons. As I said earlier, with S4, behind the scene, the code base is the same, with the on-prem as well as the public cloud solution. So in our understanding, SAP has not announced it. In a long run, all the business by design, companies will be moved to S4 in a long run. At this point of time, SAP has given a commitment they will support it till 2020 or 2025 something.
2025.
2025, I believe. But that was the prime reason. If we go with any of these, the small, mid-size good application, eventually we need to, move all these processes into the new system. That was the key reason for us to move to S4 Public Cloud. Yep.
Excellent. Any other questions? Yep. One up front.
I would like to know.
Can you state your name and
I'm
firm?
sorry, Frank Neiman, analyst
Free
with
advertising
PAC.
for you.
Thanks. Analyst with PAC from Germany. I would like to know what your experience is with Fiori, SAP Fiori, the UI, user acceptance, integration, as well as topics such as customization of the system.
Okay, so Fiori experience, customization with the system. Michael?
Yeah, so for us, we really wanted to make sure that it was an ease of use user experience, right? And so one of the, again, back to the debate with the interim CEO, he was not very happy with the blue screens that SAP kind of has out of the box. So for us, it was a core thing to move as much as possible to the Fiori user interface. And as I said, we have it not only for all our own associates, they have a launch pad with all the Fiori tiles, but we also have it for our retailers. And we've had tremendously positive feedback on the ease of use and how intuitive it is to do business using the Fiori user interface. And so we're pushing more and more in that direction as well.
I think the second part was around customization. So have you done any heavy customization to any components?
In the system, I would say that 90 to 95% of what we have is out of the box. And it's really only when we look at specific gaps that we think that are real differentiators for us that we actually invest in doing some custom code there. Our objective for sure is to try and leverage as much as possible standard out of the box.
Sure, excellent. Any other thoughts from the panel?
For us also, it all depends during the implementation, because that is the key phase when n number of requests comes from the BPOs that, okay, I want this report, that report. So that is the key area where as a project manager, as a CIO, we should look forward and make them understand the importance of going with the standardization. That is the area. And when it comes to the implementation, that PR release, because we procure a lot of raw materials and all these things we got centralized. So in that scenario, what happens, the authority lies with the key people in the company. So most of the time they are traveling. So in our case, what the scenario was, when the PR release helped us a lot. How it helped? Because the process, when the PR gets generated, then the person sends an email to other person, okay, I have generated, you please approve it. Then the approval goes, then the other person, just after the approval, the other person prepares the PO. So when it comes to the Fiori interface, you have the notifications. When the people are getting logged in, they see the notification, what is pending and what is not pending. So it's a kind of lot of time saving, and on those different procurement cycles, when you are seeing the things that, okay, it is getting delayed, and if I am not getting the raw material, I would run my plant. So that is the areas.
Great, excellent. Two more up front.
Peter, since you offered to advertise, I didn't mention my name earlier. Very
Yeah.
much Danny Deal Architect. So those of you who didn't go with the public cloud, what was your reasoning? Because right now, if you listen to the Workdays, the Salesforces, and the Oracles of the world, you should be in the public cloud. So why did you hesitate, or what made you decide to go with the private cloud?
Okay, so Michael, Manish, Jerry, if you want to jump in.
For us, it was at that point of time, there were not many players in the public cloud who were offering this solution. We were doing our project in 2015. So that moment of time in India, not lot many players were there. Right now, most of the public cloud people have moved, and they have got successful installation. That's what the one reason. The second reason was the latency, because when it goes to the end user and if they feel that it is not happening instantly, then that acceptability got reduced. So that was the another hitch which we have. So that was the reason for us to move on our own private cloud. At least we should have the accessibility in terms of if anything is not working out, we should go and check that's kind of scenario. And the other scenario was, if the company is having center of excellence, then you can get the lot of help during that time. You cannot catch a flight and get the support abroad.
Yeah,
Great. I would
Sure.
actually echo what Manish said as well. Is the time at the time there were not a lot of players out in that space, and then the second was just a little bit of scar tissue of a cloud-based CRM solution that we had gone with, where as a result of enhancements and customizations, we were pushing the limits in terms of governors and a threshold of number of concurrent transactions. We just didn't want to get caught up in that. So hence, let's own the private cloud ourselves.
Excellent. Michael, any thoughts on that?
I'll echo exactly what they said as well, and but we like the cloud, and so that's why we are leveraging the HANA Cloud Portal, and we're leveraging C4C as well, right? So,
Yeah.
and frankly, when it gets time to renew our hardware on our private cloud, we'll do a complete business analysis on what's most cost effective, right?
Yep, makes sense. Great. I think Yulia up front. Probably last question.
Hi, Julia Reichert from PAC, Germany. I was wondering, who did you work with to do the implementation? Was it SAP services or another SI? And how did you select?
Yeah, so your services provider, who are you working with?
Sorry.
So obviously with
Can you
Ajita,
repeat
I
the
don't think you were right?
No, we
In this?
used our internal resources, but obviously what SAP does is they provide somebody called a project coach, especially with the
Yep.
public cloud. So they teach you the Activate methodology, what are the help materials available. Most of these is well documented, but finding it in the SAP site is quite difficult because there's so much information available. So SAP assigned a project coach to us, and he helped us with the journey, and that's how we implemented. And now we have a team of people who has all these skills. Like when we go out, sell the product to our customers, so we will be the project coach for them.
Yep.
So we'll take over the job from SAP, moving forward. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So other thing is when it comes to the pricing, every customer knows that pricing is too much. But I would like to add here one thing. The part of percentage, that's the AMC which you are paying, that comes with lot of bundle things. Means you have the online trainings in that. That is how we came to know from the enterprise support team. And they themselves, I got an email from them that, okay, I want to meet and we want to have something on that. So from there, this HANA Primaries Customer Center of Excellence certification we did. And in that, there are areas where you find the value maps, where you find how, without moving on to the customization, you can check from the SAP itself that lot of things are already been built. You need to just, with the help of the partner, you have to just get configured. So lot of headaches would be gone on that part. So that 22% we just pay and forget, but we should not forget that. That's what I want to add here. There are value maps available, even videos are available. Even if you are doing a performance tuning, they will tell you that these are the trainings, these are the durations. You can go back and check. And on that time you have to get logged in. You can even put your number, you can get a call back, and you can see all the videos up going on in front of you. You can keep your team there, you can project it over the projector, and you can educate your team. So that's the area. That's what we discovered, and we got certified.
All right, great. Excellent. So I think that takes us to the end of our time. So I just want to thank our panel for first taking the time to share your stories, having the trust in SAP, and of course, choosing S4HANA. And with that, if there are any follow-up questions, a little hand. If there are any other questions we couldn't get to, please see Tim Singer, and he'll see if we can arrange maybe a follow-up discussion. If you have any other questions for me, just pull me aside and happy to chat. So thanks again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.